Welcome to Milagro Herbs. Today we're talking about prickly pear fruit and harvesting because it's early September and in the lower hot desert. Prickly pear cactus is abundant and the fruits are ready to pick. You want to be careful when you do pick them to use gloves or tongs to pull them off the plants. They should look purple and juicy, ripe on the plant. I prefer not to pick them off the ground. They do have small thorns on the side, so you don't want to get those in your fingers. But that's no problem if you wear gloves, leather gloves, or use tongs or tweezers to get them off the plant. Just pull them off and put them in a pot or a bucket and then take them home with you. They're really abundant right now. There's no shortage of those. What we're going to talk about now is what to do with the fruits once you get them home. You can very easily just peel them off and open them up and scoop out the fruit. And from there you can strain it and make a beautiful jelly or preserve from it. What we're going to do is show the process of cooking them down a little bit just to remove the juice and the soluble elements in the prickly pear, and then talk about how to preserve it at that point. So these are the raw fruits. They come in different sizes, and you can see the beautiful color. And there's the top where the flower was. From these, this is attached onto the prickly pear pad, the green part that everybody's familiar with. So I bring them back to the store and put them in a big cooking pot and add a few quarts of water and then turn up the heat and get it cooking. We want to bring it just up to a boiling point with a lid on top to get it hot, so it will soften the fruits and release the juices that are inside. That takes about 2 hours time. We turn it off, let it sit and cool down just a little bit, and then you want to strain it. All those little hairs that are on the fruits are really important to get those off because you don't want to ingest those. So this is our cooking pot, and here are the fruits and the water that I talked about that's been steamed and cooked, and you can see how the fruits have changed. They're nice and soft. I pulverize them inside the pot and then I strain them through this colander, which is basically my first straining. And from here you can see it dripping out into another pot. That will get most of the bulk material that's in there. And you're going to want to push that through, not too much, but just enough to get the juice out. From there you're going to have your first pressing of juice, and then you're going to want to do your second straining. For the second one you always want to use muslin, which is a cotton cloth you can buy at any fabric store. This is really fine, non-toxic cloth. This will catch all the hairs that are on those fruits and it won't go through there. So I take the cloth and I put it on top of my next colander. This is a really wonderful colander that's used in fruit pressing for apples and other fruits to make jellies and jams. Hang that on the pot, and then I take what was the first pressing of the juice and I pour it through the muslin very slowly. And you're going to have to take your time with that. It's going to go through very slowly as time goes on. The seeds and the little hairs are going to get caught in that muslin. From that point, you'll want to, when you're done that process, you're going to gather up the cloth at the very end when the fruits are in there or pieces, and you're going to squeeze it out. Just like that. Get the rest of it out. Take your cloth, wash it out really carefully. If you can, use another piece of muslin, separate piece of muslin, and strain it again. That for sure will get out all the little hairs and thorns that are on there, so you're not ingesting them. And none of the seeds will pass through there. So you want to do 2 passes through the muslin. From there you'll have a real finished product that you can start working with as far as making either a syrup or a gel or a jelly, or you can even make just use it raw as far as a juice. So this is the finished juice after 2 pressings. It's very delicious. It tastes like a combination of apple and pear, you know. Kind of very rich in color. It'll stain your clothes, by the way, so be real careful. Wear something that you're not going to worry about getting stained. It is used as a dye plant to dye fabrics. But the tuna, as it's called in Spanish and in Mexico, is the prickly pear fruit. This has so many benefits to our health. It's very high in bioflavonoids. It's high in vitamin A and C. It helps to repair blood vessels. Particularly of interest, it lowers blood sugar. So for diabetics and people that have blood sugar imbalances, it's excellent at bringing that under control. And years of research have gone on in Mexico at top universities and research institutes for the use of this particular plant for controlling diabetes. I also like to, simple enough, take the juice and just pour it into ice cube trays or other containers and put them in the freezer. That way there's no preservative in this at all. And when you want to take some, you just take out the little cubes or your frozen juice and you can ingest it that way. Otherwise, we'll want to take this final juice pressing and make a syrup from it. That would mean adding some honey or sugar, depending on how you make it, which will change the dynamics, of course, and make it a little more difficult for the blood sugar people. But it's very good at cooling the body down. It cools the body down, just like the desert cools at night as the temperature drops. You want to be careful you don't over-ingest this product, like drink lots of glasses of it at one time, because you'll get the chills, just naturally, because it lowers your body temperature, which is also beneficial for diabetics. But you'll just take the right amount that you need to control your blood sugar and to have the other health benefits. It helps repair blood vessels. It's beneficial for the heart. It's also very good for the liver as well. So in the next phase, we're going to see how we do the processing up to a syrup level. And the syrup has a nice tasty benefit to it in that you can put it on your pancakes and also use it as a food in ice cream and so forth. It does have the sugar inside, but it'll help preserve it and give it lots of delicious flavor. We'll be working with honey because honey's a whole food in itself, and we'll have prickly pear syrup made with honey. So stay tuned.